America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a prayer.
O God, the one who hears us when we call to you, you are good, true, and right. We can wander away from you. May your mercy draw us back to you. We want to give opportunity for our fellow citizens to grow as individuals and contribute to this community. Give us strength to make difficult decisions, ones that put others ahead of our own selfish desires, which will result in benefit for those in need. Please give us insight by your wisdom to choose well in our meeting tonight. Our desire is to honor you in the discussion and the decisions made tonight. Amen.
Amen. You may be seated. Thank you. We call to order our regular city council meeting, Tuesday, October 7th, 2025. Item number 2 is public comments, community announcements, and recognitions. We do have 2 public comments, but they are on an agenda item, so we will wait until that agenda comes up. And then also on public comments, community announcements, I believe we have a proclamation for domestic violence awareness with Wings of Hope. We have Coy McPeak. Here's Coy.
Mayor, I don't see Coy. We can hold off on the side and come back if she.
Yeah, come back in. We can do it then. All right, so that will be later on today, I guess. Item number 3 is the consent agenda. Items A through F. Any questions or concerns on those?
Move approval of the consent agenda.
Okay.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions, comments on the consent agenda? All right, if there are none, please cast your votes.
All votes for it.
All right, unanimous approval for all those present on the consent agenda items A through F.
Mayor, I would ask that we go back to item number 2.
Yep, it's too late.
Proclamation to Coy.
It's too late. No, I'm just kidding.
Coy walked in at 6:32 and 30 seconds. So.
We run a tight ship here. No, okay. Yes, absolutely. Coy, if you'll please join me at the podium. Turn my phone off here. All right. I'm going to go ahead and present this to you, and we will get a picture here in a second. So
Okay.
you can look at the pretty certificate while I read
Okay.
the copy. Whereas Domestic Violence Awareness Month is designed to support victims of the domestic violence in their time of greatest need, and whereas Oklahoma is consistently ranked as one of the states with the highest rates of domestic violence, and whereas unhealthy relationships can have a lifelong negative impact on personal health and children's health, and whereas we can break the cycle of domestic violence before it starts by equipping families with skills for healthy relationships, whereas parents, community leaders, civic organizations, and schools are an integral part of providing safe, healthy, and positive support systems for survivors. I can't see this. Sorry, this microphone's right in the middle of my vision as I'm looking at it. Now, therefore, I, Adam G. Robb, Mayor of the City of Guthrie in the great state of Oklahoma, recognize the need to honor and support domestic violence survivors in Guthrie, Oklahoma, and hereby declare October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Thank you.
One, two, three. All right. Perfect.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. I think we're on item number 4.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Item number 4 is items removed from the consent agenda. There were none. Agenda item number 5, presentation and acceptance of the fiscal year 2024 annual financial statements and independent auditor's report. I believe we have Kim is who's?
Kirk Vanderslice with Hinkle and Company will join us via Zoom.
There we are. That's
And,
Kim Biggs.
Yeah, after the presentation, I'll just ask that you accept it as presented.
All right. Mr. Vanderslice, can you hear us?
Nope. I don't think so.
Blink if you can. You can't hear us. Okay.
Maybe.
We can't hear.
If you can hear us, we cannot hear you.
Yes. Yeah.
We can-
I can.
Okay.
Okay. Well, good evening. My name is Kirk
hear you.
Vanderslice
I can-
with Hinkle and Company, and happy to be here to present the September 30th, 2024 audited financial statements. We conducted our audit in accordance with generally accepted auditing standards. Management's responsible for the financial statements. Our job is to express an opinion on those financial statements, and happy to report that we have a clean, unmodified opinion on the financial statements themselves. We also have a clean opinion on internal controls with no deficiencies noted, and then also a clean opinion on compliance with federal programs. This year, due to the scopes and amounts, there was 2 major programs that we selected and tested. The COVID-19 coronavirus state and local fiscal recovery funds. Present the September 30th, 2024 audited financial statements. Everything still good? I changed the view there. Can you guys still hear me?
I'm not gonna pretend that I know what I'm doing.
Yes. Hey, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. We ready for me to start again?
Yes, we are. Thank
Okay,
you.
great. Well, again, my name is Kirk Vanderslice with Hinkle and Company. Happy to be here to present the September 30th, 2024 audited financial statements. I always remind that we conducted our audit in accordance with generally accepted auditing standards, and management's responsible for the financial statements. Our job is to express an opinion on those financial statements. And happy to report that we have a clean, unmodified opinion on the financial statements. And we also have a clean opinion on internal controls with no deficiencies noted. And then a clean opinion on compliance with federal programs. This year, we selected 2 major programs for testing based on scope and size. They were the coronavirus state and local fiscal recovery funds, and then also the highway planning and construction grant. Both of those had no deficiencies noted, and management provided all supporting documentation for those grants and and compliance testing with that. So really, overall, the audit process this year went, with it being our first year too, did really well, went really smoothly once we received all the information. Crawford Associates did a great job, and you have a great team. Kim was a great help during the course of the audit. The financial statements themselves, you do have they look real positive. There's increases in net position on the governmental fund basis of about 2.4 on government wide, and then on business type activities 3.1, with the total government wide financials had an increase of $5.5 million. So really, really had increases in net position in the current year. So overall, the financials look good as well. With that, there were, I always like to remind with governments that you guys are participating in a statewide pension program, and with pension liabilities, those liabilities are estimates that are put on the books, and currently you have an $8.8 million liability on the books. That's really an estimate, and over time will fluctuate each year to year. So do want to remind that when looking at these financial statements. Happy to answer any questions regarding the audit process, the testing we performed, or the financial statements themselves, or go into any more detail that you'd like to.
Questions there? No findings, clean opinion, that's what we want to hear.
Yeah, that's all we got. Comments for Mr. Vanderslice?
Your Honor, I move that we approve the fiscal year 2024 annual financial statement and independent auditor's report as submitted.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, a second. Is there any further comments, though, or questions while we have him here? None? Okay. All right, please cast your votes.
All votes right?
All right, unanimous approval from all those present to accept the fiscal year 2024 annual financial statements and auditor's report. Well, Mr. Vanderslice, thank you very much for your time and sticking it out with us.
Thank you. With approval, we'll then be uploading it to the state auditor's website, and that should take care of this year.
All right. All right. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you. Have a great evening.
Okay. All right. Item number 6, Highland Park Pool presentation. Presentation by Crossland Construction and GH2 Architects on the Highland Park Pool project, including cost analysis as requested by City Council. We have is it Aaron Stoops and Daniel Smith.
All right, well, good evening, Council, Mayor. We've been asked to come up here and kind of go through the exercises that we've ran over the past couple months to evaluate certain options given the construction and reconstruction of the pool. I believe you guys have some copies of this, but just to speak on a high level about what we did and what this current budget contains. We went ahead and left in the original design for reference. I think you guys have seen that a few times, so wanted to leave that there just as a reference number for what that costs. And then we looked at 3 different options. One being a full replacement of everything that's there currently, structure, concrete, the whole 9 yards, and putting back pretty much exactly what was there to the area that was there. That's our column B. We also evaluated repairing the existing. This had been evaluated, I think, about 2 or 3 years ago. Looking at the costs for that, we started to question that a little bit on its validity, and I think it warranted the reason to go get a second opinion on it. So we went and pulled in a different subcontractor and got a second opinion on the evaluation of repairing what's currently there. Prices came back a little bit better than I think the original evaluation with it. Along with that, we provided a third option to it, column D, which is basically retrofitting what they call a Mirtha liner, a Mirtha pool system. to the current construction. This would be less invasive to the current structure, not much demo required. It's basically if you were to put a liner on your own pool at home, right, it's going to water tightness and protect what's there without getting into concrete work and a lot of different things like that. So we evaluated those three options. Pretty much everything else in the budget stays consistent because the work on the bathhouse and the equipment room is going to stay the same. So pretty much everything else stayed consistent with that. The only numbers that you'll see change up there is the numbers for the pool options itself. So outside of that, I can speak to positives and negatives, pros and cons of each system, or any direction you guys would like.
Why is the liner so much more, just out of curiosity? It seems like the total on the liner is almost the most expensive one.
Yeah, it's close.
Close.
Probably calling it a liner probably isn't doing it justice. It is a very sturdy system. It basically has if you're looking at the side of the pool, it has a lot of bracing that takes pretty much full sheet panels that come down and watertight lock it. Basically, it comes with a full integral gutter system as well. And it's kind of the Cadillac of them. There's really not many comparable alternates to what they do in terms of retrofitting pools like that. So I'd say they probably have a little bit of a monopoly on it.
Yeah.
What's the life expectancy of the liner versus doing full replacement of the concrete?
Sure, you can go for that.
So the Murtha system has a 10-year warranty on the vinyl liner and then a 25-year warranty on the whole system with the gutter included in that. So, and also to note with the liner, you would still need to replace the equipment, the piping and everything to tie into that. But that liner allows you to keep the shell, the current shape of it, while providing a new liner. So you prevent any leaks or anything like that, and a new gutter system as well.
We have, on some of the problems at the pool, you can walk out there and just break the concrete. You would replace part of that too, or go through that, or how would you handle that?
So anything that's deficient wouldn't structurally hold to it, it
Right.
would need to be replaced as well.
Okay.
But if we were to do a liner at 4.3, wouldn't it just make sense to just do full replace at 4.65?
If it was my money, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the life expectancy of that, the full replace?
The full replace,
Say?
yeah, for
25 years?
I'd say longer than that, as long as concrete lasts, which I normally like to say is about 30 years.
The other ones lasted 80 or 90
In this
already,
case,
so-
90.
Yeah, 80 or 90.
How much you want to squeeze out of it, for sure.
Aaron, do you want to speak to these numbers are a little bit different than what we had seen previously. You want to speak to the process about, this is just a quote, this is just an estimate, nothing has been competitively bid yet. That won't happen until we have design documents. And once the design's been approved, then we'll know exactly what it will cost. You want to go through that?
Yeah,
And then
certainly.
also on the liner, do you want to tell them where you guys are currently working with that system as well?
So if you're familiar with Pelican Bay in Edmond, we're currently doing a Murtha system at that pool. So they can keep the same shape, same function of the pool, but it's being lined, new gutter system to prevent leaks, give it another 25 years of use. So
How old is their pool?
their
The
current-
concrete, how old is it?
Their current pool, it opened in 2002, so it's 23.
So the structure itself is good. Compared to ours, it's much stronger, which would accommodate a lining possibly better than.
Right. That one's got some special conditions going on, but we are replacing the pool deck, but the shell of the pool is remaining the same, and we are installing the new gutter system and the liner with the new deck.
So on the original design here at 2.3, which one is that? Is that A?
Yes.
That's option A.
That's option A, yes.
Okay.
What's the difference? Can you explain to us the difference again between the full replace and repair existing?
Yeah, the Fuller place is coming in, ripping out all concrete, all decking, you'd be left with a dirt hole, pretty much, and then coming back and building a brand new pool.
Okay, and then repair existing would just be opening it up in certain spots?
Repair existing is demolishing approximately about half of it. The lower end of the pool is where most of the problematic areas are, and I guess you could quilt it if you want, but what this price includes is pretty much ripping it out in whole half of it, and then the other half is a few spot areas that are problematic. So it's replacing it structurally, and then you would come in and do more of like a plaster that you'd be accustomed to, and typical in-ground pool that would then cover all the repaired concrete and create that watertight barrier.
On that one, how long would it be until you start having trouble again?
On the repair,
Yes, sorry.
I think they were saying probably somewhere in the 5 to 10 years, I think is what they were saying.
Oh, wow. And this would be all ADA too, right?
Of course, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, which you can solve either by zero depth entry or a ramp of some sort.
Okay.
Aaron, if you'll take an opportunity to talk about the quotes process and how this has to be competitively bid.
Yeah, so, choosing the construction manager route just in general is about us being able to come in and help with projection of pricing, estimates, constructability. It allows us to look at jobs early when they're in the design phase, guide them through budgetary means, and to do that, while we have tremendous amounts of cost data, we rely on our industry partners to help us get that sneak peek, what we call budgets, estimates, call it what you will in that time. We use our trade partners to help us out with scopes that we don't perform, right? So something like a pool is a specialized trade. To get information on what they cost today, what they cost tomorrow, what they cost 10 years ago, we have to call on these people for help. There's not a tremendous amount of pool people in the area, pool subcontractors. There are a few that are good enough for commercial construction or pools this size. So our pool, pun intended, is limited whenever it comes to asking that. But in this phase, these are certainly just budgetary numbers. We pride ourselves on accuracy in that time. But the goal is to guide the decisions that you guys have to make, that Eddie, the project team, has to make till we get to bid day, which ultimately on bid day, we're going to take a set of documents that GH2 produces based on what everybody decides, and we're going to put it to the market to publicly bid. At that point, the lowest or most responsive subcontractor will be recommended to you guys in what we call a GMP. That's a guaranteed maximum price. So not until that day is any price final.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know exactly what I was expecting, but I was expecting something higher than this actually. So I'm actually
And
quite.
I think that's what kind of got us to this place originally is reviewing the Carruthers report from 2 or 3 years ago. I think that set a very high expectation that these should be a lot higher cost than maybe what we're seeing. Definitely the Mirtha liner probably wasn't even really an option, maybe at that time. That's developed quite a bit. I know built the school with a pool in it 10 years ago, and they used a Mirtha liner, wasn't near what the cost that it is today. So, but yeah, I was decently surprised as well. I think that we've reached out to other subcontractors to get a different view on this one. Sometimes, and you got to think these subcontractors, they have no guarantee of getting this project. They're not getting paid anything for it. They're providing this help, free and of their will, and some of them put a little bit more effort into giving us accurate pricing than others. So we decided to reach out to others with this one, get a different opinion on it, and this is the reflection of it. We hope that kind of represents what happens when you put it to market, right? Put it in a public bidding atmosphere, and all of them have to compete against each other and put that lowest price out there.
Excellent.
So some of the reduction could actually come under special construction probably, right? I mean, when it gets put to bid, obviously you don't know what it's gonna be. But that's the biggest number in the budget, 2 million, 2.5.
Yeah, certainly. We call that
2.8.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm hearing is C would just be wiped right off the board, right? I mean, basically in your
In terms of
professional opinion.
value for longevity,
Yeah.
I would assume so.
I'm glad you included it though, because that was a large question, why don't we just repair what's there, especially since it was, Carruthers had said that essentially wasn't even an option.
Well, and
So to even see what it looked like
But in essence, with the Murtha liner, that's what you're doing anyway, is repairing what's there, pretty much.
Yeah, you're utilizing what's there, and, you know, like I said, you have to evaluate, you know, what is that, 30 or so $1,000, is it worth it or not? And in some cases, it may not be, and you have to live within the budget that you have.
Well said.
I think we all have to live
Yeah.
that, so.
Right. Well, I'm very satisfied and happy with this summary. I appreciate you guys doing the work and presenting that to us tonight.
Certainly.
Any other questions or comments for Mr. Stoops, Mr. Smith?
We appreciate it. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Please reach out if you guys have any other questions. Be happy to answer.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. Item number 7 is the fire department generator purchase. Fire Chief Dane Lawson.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. If you recall, back in October of ¡24, we were awarded a FEMA grant to purchase a new generator for the station. We had a small delay because just with any other grant, by the time you get awarded, you get some bids and they're above what the grant was awarded. We were awarded $105,000 and the bids came in about $130,000, $140,000. So now we're going to order the generator ourselves and try to complete some of that work ourselves. So I will be coming back to you for install quotes that we've received. Some of them have been between 30 and 40, so that will put us below our awarded amount. So we're still working diligently on that. So expect me to come back for an install if we're approved to purchase this generator tonight. The generator's about $56,000 on a Sourcewell contract, so our portion is going to be about $14,000. So with that, staff recommend an approval at this time.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further questions or comments? If not, please cast your votes.
I'll vote Strand.
Thank you.
Unanimous approval for the fire department generator purchase. Thank you, Chief.
Thanks.
Item number 8, agreement with GH2 Architects for Fire Station Number 2, AIA B133-2019 with addendum. Mr. Faulkner?
Yes, Mayor and Council, this is an agreement with GH2 Architects for the design and construction of Fire Station Number 2. GH2 was the second highest score in the response to the RFP that was put out, for this project. Staff would recommend approval. Be happy to answer any questions.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. If there's no further questions or comments for the city manager.
When would this start, do you know?
Our kickoff meeting is in here Thursday afternoon. So.
Okay, I thought I'd ask.
I'm going to guess that this is a much better relationship than previous.
Yeah, I think so.
GH2 has lots of experience building fire stations, public safety buildings. We've been more than pleased with them on the past projects that they've completed or working to complete here in the city of Guthrie. So,
Good, looking forward to seeing what they bring.
yes, ma'am.
Nice. Okay. Any other comments or questions for Mr. Faulkner? Okay. If not, cast your votes, please.
I'll vote Strand.
All right, unanimous approval for the agreement with GH2 Architects for Fire Station Number 2, AIA B133-2019 with addendum. Item number 9, we are going to skip for this meeting, and that will be on the next, correct? Or
Possibly, and just to give you just real quick on that, the only architectural that's required is for the restroom facility in the concession building. The folks over at GH2 took a look at what we had in the drawings, came back to us and said, you know, you might not need us on this yet. So you're saving us money in that regard. So we may not need to contract with them for this. If we do, we will come back to you. So at this time, no action.
okay. All right, thank you. Okay, item number 10, resolution number 2025-13, application to Oklahoma 911 Management Authority for GIS funding. Police Chief Don Swager.
Thank you, Mayor. I've been over 911 management for more than 20 years, and after a meeting at ACOG the other day,
I found out that we're required to be submitting quarterly updates on our GIS mapping, which to the best of my knowledge, nobody does. But the 911 Management Authority also offers a 100% grant for it. We've got the grant completely filled out. The last thing we need is this resolution. Essentially, it's going to take about 245 days. The grant will pay for the people to come down and do all the work. That's going to be about $85,000. And then they will handle the quarterly updates for the year following that. And then we will have to begin paying for it after that. It's not something that's super expensive, but it's obviously something that needs to be done. What they do is they come in and make sure that all the data points tie to a house somewhere, right? We have so much development inside the county, and we're responsible for the county as the only true 911 PSAP. So we'll be doing Crescent and Mulhall and Orlando and every other thing, north and south and east and west in Logan County. And I can tell you we have a lot of stuff that just doesn't match up because the construction has boomed and we haven't done anything about mapping it.
Motion to approve?
Second.
I'll also state that in the county, Logan County, developers are not required to provide you, the county, with a plot plan or a platted map. So in my travels, extensive travels in District 2, I see many housing developments that aren't there on your map.
Yep.
So people understand this is boots on the ground, people going out there and staking this address, this street, so that when a call comes in, first responders can have that in their system immediately.
Correct.
And go to that location.
Yes, sir.
I got that from talking to him today. And I appreciate your time.
Yes, sir.
Okay, is there any other further questions, comments for the chief? I believe we have a motion on the table with a second. So if there's no further questions or comments, please cast your votes.
All votes are in.
Okay, unanimous approval for resolution number 2025-13, application to Oklahoma 911 Management Authority for GIS funding. Thank you, Chief. Item number 11, resolution number 2025-14, memorial fishing bench at Liberty Lake. Public Works Director, Mr. Maker.
Yes, Mayor and Council, the family of Kyle Wayne Scruggs has requested that a memorial fishing bench be placed in the name of his honor at Liberty Lake. We presented this to the Guthrie Parks and Urban Forestry Board. They have reviewed and requested recommendation and approval to City Council in accordance with the resolution number 2015-09.
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second. No further comments or questions. Please cast your votes.
All votes are in.
All right, unanimous approval for resolution number 2025-14, memorial fishing bench at Liberty Lake. Should be nice. Item number 12, appointment to the Guthrie Parks and Urban Forestry Board. Mr. Maker again.
Yes, Guthrie Parks and Urban Forestry Board currently has one vacancy created by the resignation of Stephen Harrison on September 29th of 2025. Caleb Lambeth has submitted an application to serve and fill the above mentioned vacancy. The term will expire on June 1st, 2026, and will then be eligible for reappointment to a second term if he so desires.
Yeah, and
I
this,
move approval of the mayor's nomination to appoint Caleb Lambeth to the Guthrie Parks and Urban Forestry Board. Fill the unexpired term of Stephen Harrison expiring June 1st, 2026.
Second.
okay. Motion and a second. Further comments or questions, please cast your votes.
All votes are in.
Okay. Unanimous approval to appoint Caleb Lambeth to the Guthrie Parks and Urban Forestry Board. He'll do great. Item number 13, appointment to the Guthrie Historic Preservation Commission. Dan Kasich.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, City Council. Perfect segue. With the resignation from the Parks Board, Stephen Harrison was eligible for the Planning Commission, representative on the Historic Preservation Commission. So the request would be to appoint him to the Historic Preservation Commission under the Planning Commission position for an unexpired term through March 31st of 2026.
So
Your Honor,
moved.
I move approval of the mayor's nomination to appoint Stephen Harris to the planning position to the Guthrie Historic Preservation Commission to fill an unexpired term through March 31st, 2026.
Second?
A motion and a second. If no further comments or questions, please cast your votes.
All votes are in.
Okay. Unanimous approval for the appointment to the Guthrie Historic Preservation Commission of Stephen Harrison. Okay, Dan's going to be up here for a little while, isn't he?
At least a couple more.
Item number 14, ordinance number 3426, the rezoning of 8 acres on West Lakewood Drive from R1 to A1. Mr. Kasich again.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Again, City Council. Yeah, this is on our far western side off of Lakewood Drive, just east of Academy. The parcel's 8 acres. It's currently zoned R1. The applicant was looking to have more agricultural-related privileges, such as livestock in that, so they're looking to rezone to ag. The Planning Commission had recommended approval, 4-0, to rezone from R1 to A1.
Move approval of ordinance 3426, rezoning 8 acres on West Lakewood Drive from R1 Residential 1 to Agricultural 1 District.
Second?
A motion and a second. Are there any questions?
What does that do to potential construction in that area? I don't think there's a whole lot going on out there anyway.
No, because it's still limited to, at most, 2 houses on a given lot in A1. So we're looking at single-family development of large lots. So again, it's not a subdivision where they're going in and
But
putting
is that what they're
multiple.
gonna do, is they're gonna build on it? Is that the plan?
Oh, yeah, both owners are out of town and they bought property and they're looking to build a single-family residence on there. And again, they wanted to have livestock privileges so they could have horses. The one wanted more than 8 chickens, which R1 limits it to in that. So it was just to have more agricultural uses that are typical with the large lots.
But it doesn't affect the surrounding area, is
No.
what I'm saying?
No, yeah, no.
And hopefully not a bunch of barn dominiums.
Well, that's what my next question, were they?
Don't get me started on that.
You could put 2 homes on a lot in A1, right?
Yeah, but the barn
Versus one in
dominium.
Residential.
Yeah, right. The barn dominium portion, as long as it's 5 acres or more, you can do that regardless of zoning in that. So these properties could have a barn dominium on them because they're more than 5 acres.
I'm not talking about that, I'm talking about 2 homes per lot.
Right. That would be the maximum per the zoning.
And a-
R1 allows 1, A1 would allow 2.
Okay.
You gonna say something? Okay. Okay.
Anything else?
No.
All good down here?
Good.
All right, well, there's been a motion and a second, so if nobody else has anything else for Dan on this particular item, please cast your votes.
All votes are in.
Unanimous approval for ordinance number 3426, the rezoning of 8 acres on West Lakewood Drive from R1 to A1. Item number 15, ordinance number 3427, the rezoning of 20 acres at the southeast corner of West Lakewood Drive and South Academy Road from R1 to A1. Mr. Kasich.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council. This is the exact same area. It's literally adjacent to the previous one. The only difference is this is a 20-acre parcel, but for the same reasons, they're looking to go to ag because they want to have livestock privileges on the property, which R1 doesn't allow. The Planning Commission had recommended approval of this one as well, 4-0.
Move approval of ordinance 3427, rezoning 20 acres at the southeast corner of West Lakewood Drive and South Academy Road from R1 Single Family Dwelling District to A1 General Agricultural District.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there no questions or comments for Mr. Kasich? We'll cast your votes.
All votes are in.
Okay. Unanimous approval for ordinance number 3427, the rezoning of 20 acres at the southeast corner of West Lakewood Drive and South Academy Road from R1 to A1. Thank you, Dan. Item number 16, resolution number 2025-07, amendment to board and commission policy removing term limits. This is me. So we just approved some people for these boards and commissions. a little bit earlier, a few minutes ago. We have a lot of boards and commissions that provide expert guidance and oversee certain aspects of our community. And we have the Historic Commission, we have the Planning Commission, we have the Parks Board, et cetera. The way the process works is that the mayor is tasked with finding and then nominating certain individuals for these positions. And then this individual is then approved by this council. These individuals then serve on their respective boards for up to 2 years or 3 years, or however long the terms are for those particular boards. So here's the problem. There's not a lot of people that's just beating down the door to serve on these boards, being the person that's tasked to find them. And the issue is you find somebody that actually is passionate about being on there, and they come on the Planning Commission. They have a master's degree in architecture, and they get on there, and they're new, and they get going, they finally get the hang of it, and then they're good at it, and they're an expert at it, and then I gotta let them go. And then I gotta go out and find somebody and beg somebody to be on it that doesn't wanna be there, and that might not be qualified. So that's the issue with that. Removing the term limits would not mean this is like a lifetime appointment like some federal judge or anything. They still have to be renewed every 3 years. They have to be appointed by this council every 3 years. And if there's any issue with any particular individual on a commission or a board, this body up here can remove them at any point. So their terms have to be renewed every 3 years or 2 years. If there's an issue, they can be removed, but this here is removing the idea that they can only serve 2 terms and then be done. And so with that, I will put it out for questions or comments.
So like on the Parks Board, you still have a bunch of openings there, right?
No, that board has
got filled finally?
That got filled, yeah.
Because several years ago, this interfered with filling those positions. I had a neighbor that was wanting to stay on the Parks Board and he wasn't able to. And he was kind of like what you're saying, just real good at it.
Yep.
I mean, it was his forte, and he just had to move on, so.
Yeah.
I motion to approve that. We did it a long time ago, and I don't think it was a great idea at the time.
I'll second that.
Okay. Any further questions? Dan, do you want to speak on this at all, since you're over a lot of the, well, you don't have to.
It's the point that was brought up, is sometimes we get or people on the boards that do really good, they're very knowledgeable, very passionate, and it is unfortunate that they have to leave because their term out in that. So it can help in a lot of ways on all our boards to retain good people.
And like I said, it's not a lifetime thing. They still have to be renewed every 3 years. And then if there is an issue, this council can vote with a majority and have them removed, so.
We got a motion and a second.
Do we have a second?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll second it.
Oh, you seconded, okay. All right, we have a motion and a second. If there's any further questions or comments from anyone? No? Okay. All right, please cast your votes.
All votes right.
Okay, unanimous approval for amending to the board and commission policy removal term limits, resolution number 2025-07. Item number 17, trap neuter release TNR consent form. Discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding the trap neuter release TNR consent form, including review of language options and possible revisions. So we passed a trap neuter release program not too long ago, and then city staff had brought it to our attention that some of the language that's on the form that is handed out to residents that will have to be participating, or not have to, but that are having an issue with feral animals on their property, the consent form that is given to them, the language of that was not quite cohesive with the actual ordinance itself. So what this consent form now will do is the language has been revised with one sentence. From what I've seen, there's only one sentence change that's added this consent form to be cohesive with the ordinance that we actually passed. That specific part was that, unlike some communities where there's an issue with a feral cat problem in a neighborhood, and then someone calls and says, hey, I want them removed, and they remove them all, they spay, they neuter them, they bring them back immediately. What we are doing is we will remove the animals and not return them, and then the second time, if there is a proven vacuum effect where multiple cats come back in 2 or 3 weeks, okay, well, now we will initiate the return portion of that program to cut down on the population from 120 to hopefully 2. So this sentence that is being added is just reiterating what is in the ordinance, that you will be able to refuse having them come back one time. And with that, I will
But
bring that up to you.
didn't you also add that it's residential?
Was that, yes, that's,
So my question
that's
is.
the second part to that, yeah.
So my legal question on that is, Billy, is that legal?
The reason we have the consent form is that we need permission to go on somebody's property. We don't have the right to go on private property.
But what do you consider private property?
So from the city's perspective, there's 2 types of property. There's city-owned property and there's all other property.
Exactly.
So private property, in this situation, it's hard to distinguish between private property and say the schools, county-owned property, state-owned property. That's still public property, but it's not property that we have control over. So we really can't distinguish between that. The only 2 things we can distinguish between are city-owned property, which we can do whatever we want, we can access at any time. All other property, we're gonna have consent or legal cause to be on.
So I guess the big question is, do we open up ourselves to liability if we call all property, if we call all property other than residential where you reside public property? Do we open ourselves up to a lawsuit potentially?
I think we open ourselves to a lawsuit if we don't have the
Consent.
landowner's consent to go onto their
Exactly.
property.
So, for example, Walmart, Brahms, any of them, we consider them public, but they're really private.
Yes.
And they are privately held. You and I could be expelled from that property at the will of that owner and told to never come back. So that's what my concern is in trying to make this just residential, because the process of this was for it to be, everybody signs off on the consent. Okay, that's what the intent was for it. Actually, I worked with you to put it together. And that's where it was blessed to, so that everybody had an opportunity to do it. I understand there were some issues with the school and potentially with some federal Job Corps, basically.
So if I can interject, I think it's important to recognize that the changing the form doesn't change the ordinance that we pass. It doesn't change the ordinance in any way.
I understand.
It just modifies the form.
I understand.
The ordinance itself does not authorize, because it cannot authorize us to go on private property or property that we don't control.
Exactly.
So because of that, changing the form only changes whatever the form is addressing. I still think, as legal counsel, that we need a form that addresses commercial property as well as residential property. I don't think it's sufficient to say we're only going to get consent from
John and
residential.
Mary residential.
Right. But I don't think that, the second part of this is I don't think there's anything in this form that changes the ordinance that we passed.
Well, it's just like at the depot. If you weren't involved in council, you had no idea about any of this, okay, you'd want to give your consent for anything to happen on your property. And no, you could do that verbally, but you can also, there's no issue with doing it in writing, and that was the intent of this form.
Well, I think
So when you called me the other day before you put this on the agenda and we had this conversation, what did you tell me?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Because you didn't call.
Well, I don't need
That's
to
what-
call. I will say there's a difference between getting permission for somebody to come on your property and then saying like, oh no, the government can't, well, I didn't give permission, so the government can't come arrest me for the carjacking that I just did. Okay, I mean, there's a difference between the government having the rights to come on to enforce a policy and then you giving consent and coordinating when they can do that.
Right. It opens up the city to liability, is what it does.
Well, okay, but I mean, how does Jinx, Hobart, Sand Springs, Pauls Valley, Ada, Alta, Stillwater, Watonga, Noble, Veneta, Salisaw, Tulsa, Edmond, Perkins, Blanchard, Ponca City, and on and on? How do they do it without legal liability?
So the the issue with that is Deanna was actually researching all that and has a lot of good data on that. And unfortunately, she has a family issue that she's dealing with and was unable to be here.
Yeah.
So she would be able to address that way more so than I
Well,
would.
she called me and she mentioned that Norman doesn't do that. Well, then that's why I didn't mention Norman in that list. But I personally spoke to the mayors of Stillwater. I personally spoke to the mayor of Sand Springs. And they have the exact same thing that we're wanting to put in.
Yeah, well, it's illegal.
The
It's the bottom line.
The legal consequence is the same for all of us. The city cannot legislate the authority to go
Yeah,
on the
well,
property.
but he already said that's, what's adding on to this form is not changing it, that Brian, he's already said. He said it's going cohesive with what's on the ordinance. I have Lisa Nude signed up for public comments. I'll have you go first if you want to step up and state your name, just that if you're a resident here or not.
I'm Lisa New, founder of Helping Community Paws and Claws, and I'm a resident here at Guthrie. Good evening, Mayor, Council. I'm just going to read here. My name's Lisa New, and I'm founder of Helping Community Paws and Claws. For the past several years, I have been on ground every single day working on trap, neuter, return, feeding stations, trapping, transporting, and making sure that Guthrie community's cats are managed in a humane and effective way. The TNR process is simple. We trap cats, we spay and neuter them, we vaccinate them, and return them exactly where they were found. This keeps colonies stable, prevents new litters, and avoids the vacuum effect where removing cats only opens the territory for more unaltered cats to move in. The ordinance, as it was originally drafted, reflected the simplicity, would have made Guthrie a strong model of humane cat management. However, by adding additional release forms, you've made a mountain out of a molehill. The option allows a one-time removal buyout. The ordinance has become more complex than it should be. That exemption weakens the ordinance and undermines the effectiveness of the TNR and makes it very difficult to secure grant funding. Most major organizations and foundations will only fund a true non-exempt TNR program. With the ordinance written this way, Guthrie risks losing a critical outside funding that could help us do this work at no cost to the taxpayers. What I would like, I'm just going to go through that. I urge you to consider removing the exemptions and passing just a straightforward TNR ordinance. Guthrie has an opportunity to be a leader of humane animal management and strong ordinances. We can bring it in the outside grants and supports that we need to make it successful. I also want to clear up some rumors here in Guthrie about the TNR. There's been a lot of confusion lately about the TNR program and the new ordinance. I want to take a moment to explain simple and clearly how it works. How TNR works, we trap cats where they already live with permission. There's state laws, we can't enter on people's property without permission. That would be trespassing. It has nothing to do with this ordinance. It's a state law. We spay, neuter, and vaccinate them. We return them right back to the exact spot. There's nothing more or nothing less. Who feeds them? If a cat already has a caregiver, the caregiver continues feeding as they always have. If there's no caregiver, for example, at the park, HCPC sets up and maintains a feeding station. We do not expect neighbors, businesses, or community at large to suddenly become responsible for feeding cats that they did not invite. What an ordinance means, residents are not required to feed or care for cats once they are TNR. The ordinance helps stops the vacuum effect by allowing cats to live out their lives without multiplying. If a cat is sick, emaciated, or unable to thrive, we intervene and care for it and do not return it. The reality, this past weekend, we TNR'd 45 cats. 9 of them come in with their caregivers. 36 I personally trapped on Friday from homes where families invited me to help because breeding got out of hand. These caregivers continue to care for their cats, not the community, just them. Too many rumors are turning this simple life-saving process into something that it isn't. TNR is not dumping cats. It's not forcing people to take on responsibilities that people didn't ask for. It's simply preventing further litters, reducing suffering, and allowing communities to live more peaceful with cats. Together, we can keep this program focused on what it meant to be, stopping the cycle of overpopulation humanely. I just cannot believe how this has turned into something that it's not. It's really a simple process. Brian,
Well, I'm not allowed to, we're not allowed to.
No, you can't, it's an item on.
Is
it's
it?
open, it's open, I can talk to you
This is,
directly.
so public comments is on the agenda item?
It's
I mean,
not a
for
public,
this?
it's not a public comment, it's an item on
It's
the
an item on the
agenda. So
agenda,
you
so you
can
can talk
address.
back.
Okay, go ahead.
Anyway, I
just wanted to make sure.
It's always got to be a fight when it's so simple. It's just a simple
Well,
thing, and
so
you keep.
let me jump in.
No,
Lisa.
no, I want to finish what I'm saying, so you hang tight just a second, okay, and I'll give you a
Okay.
minute. By playing these games about you not wanting to do this or throwing all this other stuff in, we're not, and we're allowing, so what I say is do a simple TNR ordinance, but keep that, I said that, you know, I don't like it, but we'll do it. That simple release form that lets people do a buyout really can't be on the ordinance because it makes the ordinance where we cannot get funding, okay? I know you don't want to do it at all, but we've been doing it your way for many, many years, decades.
Okay, this is not my way, okay, for starters.
Okay, so
Okay,
I want to address council.
Let me jump in. We agreed 2 weeks ago, okay, to pass this ordinance, okay, with the document. Within 3 days, 4 days, there was multiple issues cropping up, okay, on what y'all were doing out there. The school was one of them.
Huh?
The school was one of them.
What about
Okay,
what school?
I'm not going to go there right now.
No,
So
you
now
don't.
all of a
Wait. If
sudden-
we're going to address things, you're going to tell me what it is.
So
What are you
my
talking
understanding
about?
is the cats were wanted to be brought back to the school.
What? I don't even know what you're talking about.
Okay, fine. Then we don't need to go there for the sake of time and the sake of argument.
I know that they were wanting to trap the
We can table it
cats.
till Deanna gets back here because she's more knowledgeable on this than I am, but the one thing is a fact. Okay, we open ourselves up to legal liability.
Why?
On this form by making it residential
You
only.
made the form.
I'm talking about by changing it to be residential only, because now the commercial people don't have to sign the form.
The commercial people I get permission to do, and
But
I've
we don't
taken.
know that.
I think the thing is.
We don't
is
have a clue about, hold on, I'm not done. We don't know that. Okay, it's just like people, Chris, for example, I'll use you, okay? No, seriously, if you owned the gas station down the street, would you want to be able to sign off on a document that brings the cats back? Or would you just want to say, yeah, just go ahead and do it?
No, just leave the cats and let them multiply 1,000,000 times, and then you got 20 cats to feed, or you take my free
There's an
program
ordinance in
to
place
come.
to deal with that if they took the different channel on it. But again, the TNR thing is
No,
what
you made
we're-
it difficult because the TNR
I'm not
program is
making
a-
it difficult, Lisa, you are.
It's beyond, I mean, going back and redoing the ordinance is beyond the scope of the item.
Right.
We're talking about just.
Yes.
We're talking about the consent form.
Just
That's what we're talking
conforming the
about.
consent form to the ordinance.
The issue on the table is adding residential to the consent form. Oh, residential only on the consent form. Read it. Put it up on the thing.
It
Put it up on the
is
screen.
residential
Okay,
only.
Right, okay.
That's what's on the agenda.
It is, okay, residential only, but it doesn't go with what the ordinance says. You've got it on, or whoever's got it on there saying that they get no buyout. It's, will you please explain that, what the difference
Why
is
does he
between
need to
what's
explain
on
it? You and I are
the
having a
release
conversation.
and the, well, I just
It's
want.
city attorney, that's why he's
Yes.
here to do.
Okay.
It's contradicting what's on the ordinance and what that form is that was rewrote. And we agreed that it would have the same verbiage of the ordinance on that release form, and it's not on there. One paragraph is
And
not on there.
That's the scope of the item, is to
Yeah.
conform the
Yes.
form to the ordinance.
But
That's
it's
all.
not, but it's not by putting residential on it.
So what-
And had we had meetings prior to all this, instead of airing it out, trying to just force it through.
We were supposed
would
to have a
already had
meeting
something
between
that was
now, the
done.
last 2 weeks, and nobody's called me.
No, we would already had something done, way prior to it even coming on the last agenda. Grant, he couldn't make it, so him and Adam
So
decided
we're
to
not
cancel
talking
the
about
meetings.
residential, we're talking about the one paragraph. So if you're gonna make me go back to what's going on, then
I'm not making you do anything.
I don't care to do a bunch of stuff in secret, other than just be out and everybody can.
Well, there is no secret.
Well,
It's
then
a
what-
matter of, just in the last meeting, I asked our chief, are you aware that you're doing the TNR, chief? And he said, absolutely not.
Whatever.
Okay, didn't have a clue about it. when that came up, when you said, oh, I need to come up with this form too, it's a great form. And I said, no, this is your form.
Let's
And you
stop.
said, no, I'm not
We
doing
don't
the
need to
TNR.
go over that again, Brian. Let's
No,
go
I
with the
understand we don't need to go
the
over, but you
task.
brought it up. Okay, so
I'm
let's
gonna
go over
unbring
it.
it up and let's go back to the task in hand, okay?
The task at hand is by putting residential only and excluding commercial and coming off like commercial is public is not legal, period.
So I might chime in. The original ordinance had language in there that would allow that form to be approved and modified by the city manager from time to time as necessary. I think that this form is secondary to the ordinance that we passed. I think the proper way to do this would be go back, have everybody involved figure out what the best language for that form would be. I don't know that fixing the form necessarily needs to be a council function.
I don't know either.
I think that the form should conform to.
And why is it all of a sudden?
Wait, what are you saying, Eddie?
It will not be a staff function.
But let me ask, Adam, why all of a sudden why does it need to be fixed?
I was told by city staff that there might be conflicting verbiage with what's on the form, with what's on the ordinance, so I said, okay.
By whom? Who's city staff being Eddie?
Don't be calling people out on city council, just,
I'm asking,
Well, no, yes,
hold on a
Eddie.
second, I'm sitting up here, not
Yes,
you.
Eddie is.
Okay.
Hey, let's,
So if it was you, Eddie, what are we talking about here where it's, so we're gonna put residential on the document because it conflicts with the ordinance?
The document was an attachment to the ordinance, so it was staff's interpretation that the form doesn't say, currently, it doesn't say that residential areas can opt out. The ordinance says that, they get to opt out one time, but the form doesn't say that.
Correct.
So the first issue we had at Fogarty Elementary, which I'm sure Lisa is aware of the counts at Fogarty.
That's what I
and
just
the
brought
issue
that
there. That's what prompted the conversation. So for staff clarification, we need the form to match the ordinance. That's all we need from a staff perspective.
And so you need to have residential on that form.
If we're going to utilize the form should not contradict
the ordinance.
the ordinance.
right.
That's all I'm saying from a staff perspective.
By putting that on there, Billy, does that open us up legally?
No, because we've just limited this form to residential use. So I still would suggest that we have a separate commercial form. Doesn't have to have an opt-out, doesn't have to have anything. I think we just have a simple consent form for commercial sign that gives us consent.
I get
But that's not
consent
this.
from
This-
every place I go, I get consent, written consent from anybody, places I go. I
It
don't
just
know.
seems to me that we passed an ordinance that everybody was okay with, and all of a sudden somebody found something that wasn't working the way they wanted it to work, whether it be getting funding, or whether it was doing a TNR at a certain location, be it Fogarty, or if it was Job Corps doing something, or anybody else doing something. Now we come in and we want to change the document. Okay, that's what it looks like to me.
No.
Billy, you just told me the other day that it opens us up to legal recourse by the property owners.
That was a separate question now. Can we, if this is just commercial, can we do it, or residential, can we do whatever we want on commercial property?
The answer is no.
still no. This isn't changing that. This is just making this form just deal with residential. If this form just deals with residential, at some point, we probably should come up with or have a form that deals with commercial. Changing the language on this form itself doesn't open this up if we're just using this form for residential.
It's just a mirror for the ordinance itself. Right.
So,
And there's no ordinances
if
that
folk-
have forms. Y'all put that on there and cause all this conflict. We don't even have, like I said, we're making mountains out of molehills. We
nobody
didn't
put
even have
anything
to-
on anywhere. I just came up with a form to protect the Chris Evans of the world.
Whatever,
Okay,
that
on their
form
home.
made it complicated.
And on business,
The
and
form
on
made it
schools and everybody
complicated.
else.
The form made it
Well, I'm sorry it makes your
complicated.
life complicated.
Doesn't make my life,
Okay, well
it's
then
not a
what is the
TNR
problem?
ordinance.
What's the problem? I don't see an issue with it.
You're my problem.
Well, I might be your problem, but you're making this a big problem. Okay, there is no settling or satisfying anything that you ever want to do on this, Lisa. Nothing.
Really?
Really. And there's not ever going to be. And so, but at the end of the day, okay, my understanding is somebody went to Fogarty and said, no, that's not what this form's for. Okay, this form's for residential only. Was that you?
That would be speculation. No,
I just want to know who that was.
I don't think that was anybody.
Somebody was talking to the principal out at Fogarty, and that happened.
Wasn't me.
Our superintendent had to
What?
get involved.
Why are we even talking about that right now,
Because I do
Brian?
know about it.
Okay, well, not everyone is privy to that information.
I'm just asking a question.
Well, how about you tell everybody what the entire.
And
Thank you.
it's beyond the scope of the item. It's
No,
beyond the
then all
scope.
of a
Thank
sudden,
you.
then that
Your Honor,
happens, and all of a sudden,
Your Honor,
we're
this
sitting
is
here
beyond
with
the
this.
scope of the item.
Okay. We're adding one sentence to the form, and that this is going to be residential. I'm making a motion to pass as is here on item number 17, the change for the language options and the revision.
To conform to the ordinance.
To conform to the ordinance. That's all we're doing.
I think we need to table it and have a conversation with everybody involved, which we don't have everybody involved
I'm
here.
having a conversation right now. The ordinance
Okay.
that you voted for.
Make your motion, Adam.
Already made it.
Okay.
Second.
There you go.
Wait, but I have a chance to comment, right, before you all vote on this?
Yes, you can. Bonnie Winslow.
There is this,
Go ahead.
So last time I came up here, I said I was really comfortable with the form because I felt it covered private property interests. Because my understanding when I looked at the form was that unlike the resolution, if I called, not being a caregiver, if I called and asked for them to have the cats come and be removed, and they did a TNR on them, then I would also then have the choice of not having those cats returned back to my property. That was my understanding of the form. Did I misunderstand that part of it?
No.
I'm correct. So now, what I'm hearing in this discussion is the only thing that you're changing, I've heard two things. First, I heard we're just going to add the word residential to this form so it applies to me. But then I hear you say, well, it's going to conform to has to conform to the resolution. But the resolution says I get one time out. That means I get one pass where I call and they do a TNR. I say I don't want it to be returned. But if that cat shows up again, I can't call up and say, it's back here again, I don't want it here. Am I correct? Am I correct in hearing that?
No,
So-
no. If you have a cat taken away and it either goes to the shelter, it's rehomed, or it goes to a barn, that they don't just dump it out at the shelter or it runs back to your house. A different cat will show up in 2 weeks that is not fixed, that will breed and then cause 90 at your house. That is the correct
and
scenario.
that
not the
one gets
question.
tracked,
I
and
don't care.
That's not the question she asked.
The technical question you asked.
No, she did ask. She
No, she
said,
wants to know if she says no to the cats, and as the ordinance said, that if they trap cats there again in 6 months, you have no choice, you have to do a TNR program. Is that what it says?
well, yeah, that was her question, but her statement of, inside of the question, that the same cat would come back and she wants that same cat gone, that is incorrect.
Did you say you wanted the same cat back?
Yes, go back to the.
That is what I said. I mean, that's because that's how I see, I mean, that's what this is all about, right? I mean, this whole thing is about this cat has been trapped and now it's being returned or not returned. So we're talking about the same cat, right?
Yes, but you don't, you're saying, do you have a right to say no only once?
Right.
That's correct, yes.
But my point is, then that doesn't make sense, then that doesn't protect me.
Yeah,
Because then,
it does,
How?
because
How?
here's the deal, is you have to take responsibility to ensure that your property is no longer going to be a breeding ground and a vacuum for the cats. So for
Holy
example, if you
moly.
have a outbuilding that they're digging under, you need to secure the outbuilding so that they're not coming back. Otherwise, what you're doing is you're placing a burden on the city because we're constantly coming out trapping cats and killing them.
got it, okay.
There's no
So,
burden on you, of course. It's a burden on the city. You have to fix your property so you're not inundated by
oh, okay.
trespassing animals.
I see. Well, that's really fascinating. That means that I kill all the birds in my yard. Okay, I kill all the birds because that's a deterrent. I mean, that's what's bringing those cats in there, is they're getting on my property and killing the birds. Or they're getting on my property because they like the dirt, they like to poop in that dirt. I'm not a caregiver, and you know, I see this ordinance applying to caregivers, but I don't see it applying to a person like me, where these cats come on my property, and I have neighbors who feed those cats but don't really take care of them. So why am I being punished by having to say, yeah, they can keep on coming back. That makes no sense to me, and that's why I agree with this amendment, because it covered me. Now it will not cover me.
It's not gonna cover you now. And
No.
on top of that,
Because
if you
they're
own a
not going
business
away.
right down the street, it's not gonna cover you there either.
Yeah.
Because now you have to come up with some all kind of new form, or just do a word of mouth that it's just fine, they're gonna come back, no problem.
I'm telling you this, guys, I'm telling you this right now. If you go the route you're going, you're going to see more cats being killed. You're going to have people in my neighborhood.
There's gonna be less cats because we're TNR now.
Well, you're gonna see a lot of lawsuits is what you're gonna see.
Well, you're also going to see people, if those cats come back to that property again, that property owner is going to take them out to the country, or they're going to kill them, okay? They're going to do one or the other.
That's against the law.
Well, maybe, but I'm just telling you, that's what, I mean, people do it all the time, listen, you know they do it all the time.
Do you want?
I do, no, I have heard it, I have been coming here for 2 years, I know the program, I don't even disagree with that.
Okay, so
I think
you-
it's a great program, Lisa.
Do you
I
want 2 cats or 120 at your house?
No, I want the ability to say no the second
So
time
that's
or the
what this
third
is about,
time,
is you
that's
just want
all.
the ability to say yes or no, not the.
Absolutely.
not the-
Again,
I'm not the caregiver.
This is
I'm not- okay, let me
beyond the
just back
scope
up.
of the item. This is beyond the
Okay,
scope of the item.
I've made a motion in a second, so.
All right, so cast your vote.
Wait a minute, so she can talk and talk and talk, but I can't get my point
That's
across?
the way they want it.
No, go ahead.
No, let me just say my
ahead.
final thought of this, is that if you guys decide to do this, the other route I have to take is make it a nuisance cat, okay, which puts it into a whole different category.
Yep.
Right now, the way I've looked at terms under nuisance, and they're not real strong. I mean, I'd have a hard time probably justifying that that cat's a nuisance cat. So my recommendation is if you choose to go this way, and if you do, you do. I mean, really, it's okay. But beef up the nuisance so that cats that continually come on my property, same cat over and over again, even after it's been trapped, not TNR, this is just to the city. If they've been trapped, then I have a way of keeping them permanently off of there.
Well, I can tell you, I'm gonna vote no on changing the form, and that's just a fact.
Okay.
Because the form is what protects at least the homeowner. Doesn't protect the neighbors, but it protects the homeowner. So I'm voting no on changing the form, so let's just vote.
Okay, all right.
See where
I
it
do
goes.
want to point out something. I met Bonnie 2 years ago. She called me as her representative and asked me if I could do something about cats. That's when I brought the ordinance request to stop feeding wild animals. Okay, let me speak, okay? I don't need your response to that. It is a people problem. That's the one thing you said is absolutely true. It's a people problem. And the ordinance we have on the books would address that severely if it was more readily enforced, not because you have the time, but it would. But the one thing she doesn't speak of is the neighbor between her and the cat breeding factory who wants to remain out of the focus. A nice lady, I worked on her house myself. Went to the expense of building a 4.5 foot, 5 foot brick retaining wall around her entire backyard. Had it landscaped, had a water feature put in, and everything else. And now she has to reduce the water in her water feature waterfall to keep the cats from using it. That's nonsense. Nobody should have to do that. I'll leave it with that.
So there's a motion on the table in a second. Let's vote.
Okay, let's go. Cast your votes, please.
All votes are in.
You're going to shoot.
All right, 4-2.
You're going to shoot.
To approve, where are we at on my?
The amendment to the TNR
Yeah, that's
consent
my-
form.
You guys just opened us up big time legally, and Billy, you know it.
Well, let's move forward.
So 4-2 for the approval of the trap removal release TNR consent form, language options and possible revisions. Thank you for everyone who took your time out to speak.
Thank you.
Item number 18, city manager's report.
No report, Mayor.
Sure, Eddie, you don't want to give a 20-minute speech?
I'm sure. I've gone through enough lozenges tonight.
All right. Request comments from city council. I'll start with my right and work my way over. Councilman Williams.
I'm good.
He's good. Vice Mayor Taylor.
Staff, thank you. You guys really did a good job tonight. I appreciate everybody working hard. I know it's getting to where it's hot, cold, hot, cold. I'm hoping it cools off and you guys don't have to put a lot of time in. I know that it's getting tough, so, but other than that, that's it.
Thank you. Councilman Aguirre.
None, thank you.
Councilman Bothroyd. Oh. And Councilwoman Gibbs. Okay. The Guthrie Haunts is open, and it's been said that the Guthrie Haunts is the best spook grounds, I guess, in the state of Oklahoma, so go check that out. I have a lot of events coming up. Red Brick Night says, Justin, is that done, or we still have more? Got one more Red Brick Nights. It's kind of a traveling event that goes to different businesses. You know where the next one is?
7 different places.
7 different places. Okay, all right, that's pretty cool. All right, well, check that out. It's pretty fun. Other than that, that is all I have. And
Bluegrass coming up, right? Yes.
oh, yes, I forgot that one. Yeah, Bluegrass. Yeah, it's this weekend, I think.
Yes.
They're looking for volunteers.
Oh, they're looking for volunteers. So
To do what?
Work the front gate, also help with concessions, t-shirt table, and also help with the ticketing. Yep, they can contact Stacy Fraser.
Contact who?
Stacy Fraser.
Stacy Fraser. We can't do it.
Oh, there you go. Okay, all right. Other than that, that's all I have. And then item number 20, proposed executive session pursuant to authority of Title 20 OS 307 as follows.
Your Honor, I move that we convene an executive session pursuant to the authority of Title 25 of the Oklahoma Statute, Section 307, specifically 307B2, for the purposes of discussing negotiations concerning employees and representatives of the Fraternal Order of Police, Lodge Number 105, and 307B1 for the purposes of discussing the employment, hiring, appointment, promotion, demotion, discipline, or resignation of a public officer or employee, specifically the city attorney, and to conduct an interview for that position.
Okay, a motion.
Second.
And a second. Cast your votes, please, to go into executive session.
All votes are in.
Unanimous approval to go into executive session. Stick around, folks. Chris, can't you write these articles and post them before we even come out of the executive session?
I'll need to pull down this
Cool now.
Yeah, let it all.
Who are we missing? Oh, okay.
I don't know where to begin.
Your Honor, I move that we reconvene after the executive session, noting that no action was taken.
Okay. Or
Second.
we need to come in from, vote to come in.
Yeah, we're gonna vote to come in.
That is it.
That's
Okay,
it.
That's
That's
it.
the
Okay.
vote.
Okay.
All right, please cast your votes.
All votes are in?
Unanimous approval to come out of executive session. Let's see. Item number 22, Fraternal Order of Police Lodge, number 105, fiscal year 2025-2026 collective bargaining agreement. Eddie, there's no
action.
no action on that, so, all right. We don't vote on no action, we just go to the next one. Okay. Item number 23, the employment of a city attorney, Eddie Faulkner.
No action.
No action on that as well.
No action on that. And then item number 24 is we are adjourned.
That's it.
Nope, got
consent-
one more to go.
Public Works.
Public Works.
Here we are.
We just got the rule. It's just a couple.
It's just the thing. All right, we will call to order our Guthrie Public Works Regular Authority meeting, Tuesday, October 7th, 2025. Item number 2 is the consent agenda, items A through D.
Mr. Chairman, I move approval of the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. Further comments or questions, please cast your votes.
All votes are in?
Unanimous approval for the consent agenda, items A through D. Agenda item number 3 is items removed from the consent agenda. There were none. Item number 4 is we are adjourned.